a seat at the table, wanna act like they grateful. Don't mess with outsiders, y'all looking real unstable. If anything, they should ask me how I do it. Start taking notes, recording my every movement. I know that I'm the best and I ain't gotta.
everything, and then let's say you get famous for something
Mm-hmm.
that you don't even necessarily like. You were like, oh, I'm just trying something. But now you have to produce it over and over and over and over and over again. And then you're pretty much almost going to feel like you're a slave to it. But you
Exactly.
kind of almost did it to yourself.
Right.
Not on purpose, but,
Mm-hmm.
you ventured out.
Exactly.
Mhm.
People venture sometimes. It don't always work out for them. Sometimes it does, but then here's the thing though, they can always go back safely to their pocket. So
Yeah. So it's just always find something that you love,
yeah.
get really good at that, and then the people that love you for that will come.
Right. Okay, so besides music, what was the your second thing that you like stuck to the most when you were exploring what you wanted to do as a kid?
Ooh, the second thing. That's a really good question. I will say that there is one thing that I haven't fully dove into that I absolutely love. And I will say it is dance.
Okay.
It's still music related,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just it's one of those learning curves that like I get scared to do. Like music, I'm like, let's take on the world. Let's
Mm-hmm.
just do this. But when it comes to dance, it's so scary
It
for
is
me.
scary.
Like I'll go to classes and try them and then I'll get out of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, if I could like really dive into this, I definitely feel like it would end up being a second like passion for
Okay.
me.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I can understand that. Because I'm going to be honest, I cannot dance.
Yeah.
I very much admire people who can. I
Hmm.
think it looks so cool, and I'd be like, oh man, I wish I could dance. I've had
Yeah.
like choreographers invite me to, yeah, like classes, and I'm like, I'm scared. Like, I'm just scared.
Yeah, because I feel like sometimes, like, okay, I can sing all day long, I can write, I can do whatever, but then I also feel like, man, like, there's music that flows through my body also,
Mm,
but I don't know what to do with it.
exactly.
And I almost feel restricted not
Yeah.
being able to know what to do. I can two step here and there,
Mm,
but if that's not what the song calls for, I want to be able to express, how I feel with
yes.
the music through my body too.
Mm,
So yeah, I would say dance is my second
okay.
thing.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel like one day I should just dive into it, but I'm like I said, I'm just scared.
Hmm.
And like
Yeah.
it's almost similar to like the fear I felt when I was starting music.
Hmm.
But I'm just like, what if I'm not good? What if everybody laughs at me? What if like
Yeah.
all the little things going through your head?
Right, which is always worse in your head than it actually is in real
Exactly.
life. It's just one of those things where it's like you just kind of got to make yourself do it
Mm,
until you're comfortable with it, or
exactly.
you make yourself do it until you realize you don't like it. One of the two. But it's
Right.
like consistently at least try it.
Exactly. Consistently try, and then you can say, I don't like this or I love this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying it out loud, and it's just like, so are you gonna do it? You can say it, but are you gonna do it? I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. So, tell me a little bit about your background. So, you told us what you have the type of mom who would let you try all the different things. I feel like
Mhm.
that's really cool. So what was your childhood like? And do you have like brothers and sisters? Where did you grow up?
Ooh, girl. I grew up in Racine.
Mm.
Um, but even though Milwaukee has embraced me with open arms, originally I am from Racine, and I do have seven younger brothers
Oh
and
wow.
sisters, and I'm the oldest.
Okay. 7.
So yeah, but we're like 8 years apart. We're like the second sibling comes in at. So
Okay.
I got spoiled for a really long
That's good
time.
though.
Yeah.
you got an only child treatment for the good first few years of your life.
Yeah, I still
Mhm.
feel like I get only child treatment though. Like how you feel like you're the favorite forever. Like that's just
Yeah.
how I feel.
That's because you were the first.
Yup.
You was the rider.
Yup.
You
We're
was the
all
one that was everywhere your mama was.
yup. We're always fighting for the favorite spot. Me and all my siblings. It's cute. But yeah. I will say I was a terrified child. You know those kids that are scared of their own shadow, like they like discover it for the first time. They're like, oh my
Yeah.
God. I will say that is the type of kid that I was.
Okay.
Um, Well, it was like a little bit of both. I would say I have a duality about me. Like on one hand, I'd be terrified, but then on the other hand, I was really curious.
Okay.
Um,
What's your sign?
Gemini.
Okay, there we go.
So I'm always exploring like the extreme sides of everything.
Okay.
But yeah, like it was like everything that I wanted to do. Like my mom literally had to be like that driving force for me to actually do it because I was scared to do everything.
Okay.
When I wanted to do music, she's like, "You need to go into this school. You can do that." And I'm like, "Okay," and she just knew that I liked it, you know. Or you should do musical theater. And I'm like, "I don't want to be a theater kid," and then I do it, and I fall in love with it, you know. Um, and then of course I was in a group before this.
You were. For how long?
Jesus. For like, oh, it was like 7 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah, a long time.
Y'all had a little
Yeah,
Destiny's
it was.
Child, beginning Destiny's Child.
Yeah,
type.
and that was like,
What happened to Latoya?
oh Lord, you don't walk me into a corner with this one.
Oh.
So, because I can't talk about my history without talking about it.
Well, come on. Let's talk about it.
It was cool or whatever. I will say it it has the same story of almost every group that you could think of, you know, where there's like it starts off with one girl, then it's two, then you go through like four or five different girls, then it's three, and then you go through another four or five different girls, and then it's four, and then you get your final four. Then there's always a bunch of drama, always, especially because I was in a group during high school.
Oh Lord.
So I
Yeah.
will say it was really none of our faults. It was just the growing pains of growing up. But we were busy, like really, really busy. You know, it was like we would go to school and then we would go to our group practice. And then right after that, we would go to cheer practice and then we'd have to do our homework. And then on the weekends, we were going to the studio or we were going to the dance studio. So, like, I had this busy music life for a really long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure for a teenager.
It is, yeah. But you know, at that time I was also really excited because, you know, in Racine we don't really have a music scene. So it was the closest to the industry that I had ever been, you know, and you know, we got our beats from like California and we got to travel and we're doing shows and things of that nature. So for me, I was just in the life,
Aw,
you know, I was
yeah.
loving it.
I love
Like,
that.
yeah, and you know, of course, like I said, even though we had a little bit of drama, we were all sisters, you know. And we'll fight behind each other all the time. And of course, you know, you get older and things change, and you know, everybody wants to go their separate ways, which is cool because we needed the experience.
Right.
You know, we had managers and all types of stuff, so I was able to take that and translate it into what I'm doing now. You know, and I had to start all the way over. I don't want to say start all the way over because you start over from experience.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so I, you know, went from being in like these big studios and I went back to bathroom studios and basement studios and, you know, just recording at people's houses. And then the next step, I was like, well, I can't just stay here. I gotta venture out and find what else to do. I've only been in Racine. What else can I do? And, you know, I ended up coming to Milwaukee. Now, I don't think I've ever really told this story, but I will say music for me has been such a spiritual journey where anytime I felt like unsupported or I was scared to do something, God would bring somebody into my life to really help push me forward. So I will say at the time where I really started music, um, I was like, I want to go to studios, but I didn't have no car. Like, I think I had just lost my job. Like, I had lost a lot in a short amount of time. And all of a sudden, I get a random message on like Facebook. And it was this random guy I had never known before. And he was just like, hey, I heard you sing somewhere. Do you want to come to my studio? And I'm like, what do I do? I don't know this person. You know what I mean? Like, he could be from anywhere and just saying, oh, do you want to come to my studio? So I prayed about it. I'm like, should I go? And I got the yes. I don't remember how I got the yes, but I just got the feeling of
Don't know how I got there, but we got there.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and the guy, I'm saying the guy like I'm not saying his name. His name is Rail.
Okay.
Um, and he came all the way to Racine to pick me up. We went to the studio back in Milwaukee. Then afterwards, he dropped me all the way back home. And I just thought that was like the sweetest thing that anybody had done for me in a long
That
time
is
because yeah, I was like it was a complete stranger.
Mhm.
And just off of the pure like belief and love for music, like he was like a godsend to me and we've literally been friends ever since.
Aw.
Yeah, so he owns Timeless Studios.
Oh, okay.
Yep, on Water Street.
Okay.
So yeah, shout out to Rail. Thank you for helping me.
Do you still work with him ever?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
on occasion. I'm sure you work
Mhm.
with multiple people because
Yes.
most artists, as we move along, do start working with a bunch of
Mhm.
different people. But
Right, yeah,
is he
just
still,
expanding
like-
your community, but
yeah,
yeah,
but he's still in your pocket.
all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
But yeah, that was kind of like my story of how I got here, and then, yeah.
Okay, and then so you got here, but then how'd you move here?
So I ended up just getting a place here for a little bit, um, and with the community that I did grow, like it was kind of like I started meeting a lot of people. Like I went to like a dance class randomly, and I met this girl named Kaylee, and she also does music. And then I met Kia, and she does music. And then I met um, it's just so many people that I met that showed me around Milwaukee,
Yeah.
pretty much. And they showed me all the different festivals and music shows that was going on, and I was really only here for like a year,
Okay.
but I did so much in that year, you know, um, and it was beautiful. It really was. Like I had never met so many people that were willing to help you in music than when I came here. I know a lot of people, who live in Milwaukee be like, it ain't no
Yeah.
opportunities
I was gonna
here.
say that. I actually like hearing that fresh perspective because
Mhm.
almost everybody who comes here has the opposite. So
Mhm.
I do like hearing that you have found support in the city. You have found people who are willing to help you, who want to help you learn and grow.
Yeah, and it really also comes from discernment, because
Exactly.
I ran into a bunch of different people
Yeah.
where they may not have had the best intentions, or,
Mhm.
you know, I knew they may not have been going in the same direction as me.
Yeah.
I just tried to stay as close to good energy as I possibly could.
Yes.
That's really all
And that
it
really
is.
is the key.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
And I know it's a gift to be able to read energy because a lot of people get mixed up with the wrong people just because off the bat they can't really like feel them out and know what intentions are.
Right.
So.
But that comes with time, though.
It does.
I feel like really in our generation period, we get off on instant gratification. And so that's why people get into bad relationships and bad jobs and bad situations, is because you didn't take the time to really understand the situation that you were in or the people that you were dealing with.
Yes.
People will tell you exactly who they are without you even really having to say anything. Just give them time.
Exactly.
They'll tell you.
Exactly. How much time are you willing to give them?
Not that much time, girl, because there's a reason.
It's a 3 strikes you're out type
Thank
deal.
you. I was just about to say there's a reason why a third time is a song,
Exactly.
because I'm gonna give you 2 strikes. After that it's like, well,
Yeah.
you did it to yourself.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think 3 times is plenty to show who you are.
It is.
So.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out to Milwaukee. I love y'all.
Aw. I know Milwaukee loves you. 'Cause you're always here, even though you don't live here.
I know.
You're here performing. You're here at parties. You're here just.
Yeah, just living.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if I find good energy, I'm gonna stay in that energy. Of
You
course, I'm
should.
gonna want to expand to other places, but while I am here, I'm gonna enjoy myself.
Yeah.
Especially because in the creative field it can be busy, especially if you're still working and trying to do your craft. Like you need community, especially when things start to get hard. You really
You
need
do.
that. Mhm.
I know everybody wants to think and say that they don't need anybody, but
Mhm.
even I was one of those people that wanted to think and say I don't need anybody. But
Mhm.
that's only because I think we're afraid to need people because
Yes.
we're afraid of outcomes.
Yeah, like you really think that people are going to let you down. And honestly, people are going to let you down. That's just the
Right.
nature of people.
Yeah.
But like you'll have more positive experience with people than you do negatively. It's just the negative ones weigh so
Right.
heavily on you when they do happen. But no, I absolutely feel like we need community. I will say with this project, with everybody that I work with, I have a long list of people that I actually worked with. I'm not gonna lie, I was so stressed out with like doing this project and trying to do content, and I like almost quit. But when it came to the time for me to write my thank you to everybody that I had worked with, and I looked at how many people were on that list to try to make this happen, it completely turned me around because I was like, wow, like this is so much bigger than me.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody has their own careers that they're trying to work for, and we all believe in each other. And it like gave me that boost again to keep going, you
Yeah.
know, because I'm like, wow, like when I don't have the strength to keep going, like these people around me, like really speak life into me every
Yes.
day. Like, you're good, you're doing better than what you think, and you're fine. If you need me, call me, you know,
Mhm.
all types of stuff. It's just I had to be open to receiving that type of love from, you know, my team that I have.
Yes. Yeah. And I can tell you, we need that type of support as artists because I can tell you, there's so many times that I myself have just been like, forget it, I'm ready to give up.
Mhm.
And like even just this past like year or so, I'm like, am I really like built for this? It's a
Yeah.
lot. Like it's a lot that goes into it.
Mhm.
But then when you just hear the support, you hear people who want to help you, people who tell you what they see in you and that they know that you got it in you. Like it really does encourage you.
Yeah.
So that's also why I don't like to say that nobody in Milwaukee will support you either.
Mhm.
Because like you said, it's all about discernment.
Mhm.
And yeah, there are people who will support you. You just have to find the people who vibrate with you.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say too, like, before I lose my train of thought. What was I gonna say? Isn't something new or something? I
Hmm.
don't know. I forgot it now.
Aw,
Sorry.
that sounded good. Okay, so well, since you said opening up to people, what has it been difficult for you in the past to open up to people, and what has helped you to start slowly doing that?
Yes, it was extremely hard for me to open up to people because I felt for me, I had so many bad experiences with people. And then also being a quieter person, people look at you and they kind of did, I don't want to say kind of, they dismiss you
Mhm.
like 100%. They feel like you don't know nothing. My pet peeve is when somebody calls you naive.
Mm.
And I say that because it's victim blaming. Like you're pretty much calling that person like stupid or
Easy to
unaware.
manipulate.
But why you manipulating though?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like why are
Yeah.
you messing with people? Why do you think that it's okay to try to take somebody's kindness for a weakness, or to try, like you said, to try to manipulate or, you know, make fun of that person? So yeah, no, it was really hard for me to you know, open up to people because of that reason, because that
Mhm.
was the type of person that I was looked at as not being like serious or anything like that. Um, but also from that, I had gained a lot of strength because I had almost like, well, I'm gonna show you type of personality, you
Mhm.
know,
Oh, me
like
too.
yeah,
Uh,
like I'm not just this little mouse that you think can't do anything.
mhm.
And but with that, I realized I could not do it alone.
Right.
You know, that's when I had to open up to people. So when people would ask you, like, hey, you know, what do you like about music, or how does this make you feel, and all these other things. Like, I had to say something. I
Right.
had to let people get to know me, because if I didn't, then we couldn't even work together.
Mhm.
You know, you have to know who you're working with.
Exactly. And the thing is, making music is such an intimate process
Mhm.
that, like, if you're not in tune with the person you're working with, like, you might be on two different levels, music, not levels, but
Mhm.
you might be thinking in two different directions,
Right.
there's nothing wrong with, of course, everybody needs to think a little bit differently.
Mhm.
But it's hard to, like, get that flow if you don't really
Mhm.
take the time to know who you're working
Right. And I will say also, working with Johnny, I say, Johnny, relax. You
with.
can't say his name without saying Johnny, relax.
Right.
But I will say me and him had the most in depth um, dive into music, because,
Hmm.
of course, he makes all my
Yeah.
music and he's great at it, but it took us time to get there.
Mhm.
Like, I really started to figure out my sound because of him, because we sat for hours and days and weeks, and it's pretty much been years now,
Yeah.
and had to learn each other, like, inside and out, pretty much.
Mhm.
Like, okay, what's your personality like? What are you feeling like today? Who do you listen to? Um, you know, uh, Pretty much everything that you could think about when it comes to making music, like, we tried to go through that process. Like, we would even interview each other,
Yeah.
you know, um, and even down to, like, who are the one-off people that you listen to that nobody would think that you would listen to. We would ask each other questions like that, and being able to go that deeply into the music process really helps you even find yourself,
Yeah.
because you just be going through life,
Right.
every single day, and you don't think about what makes you you
Mhm.
for real until you have to go through that process with
Right.
music. At least that's how it was for
No,
me.
I agree. It was like that for me too.
Mhm.
Um, Honestly, it's been like therapy sessions. It really is. It's like therapy sessions, even to
Mhm.
the point where, like, I will have to step away sometimes from creating and all of that because of the fact that I went too deep, and then it feels like I, like, dug up a little wound that I have to heal from. Then I'm like, okay, we're good.
Mhm.
We can keep going. Like,
Right,
it
but
really is that deep making music.
right, and
Yeah.
it's beautiful that it does that, though,
Hmm.
because there's a lot of people in the world who, as soon as they hit that point in their life, they just stop and go, "Whoop, that's a little bit too much for me.
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna look at it." But
Put the blinders back on.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's also, like, this whole thing about, this project as well. It's just taking off the rose-colored glasses and seeing things for, like, what they really
Yeah.
are. You know,
Yeah.
and that's why I called the head over heart, because I really
Mhm.
felt like a lot of situations that I was going through was because I was only thinking with my heart.
Mhm.
I'm just pouring all this energy, not realizing that I had to have discernment. Discernment is, like, in my top 5 vocabulary words.
Mhm. Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, because I realized how important it was growing up, and even having accountability. So, like, the first song I can say, which was "Get Through This," it was about, you know, I knew I was in a situation where, romantically, in a situation where, like, I was being delusional. I was being delusional, bro. Like, that person really didn't even care about me like that, but I just kept having them around. And it's like, why do you have this person around? Like, use your head, bro. Like, they don't text you back for like 5 days, and when they do, they say, "Oh, I'm tired." You wasn't tired for 5 days, like, so that was
It
one,
really be like that too.
yeah. And then I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm gonna charge it. It's not even you. It's me at this point. I'm letting you into my space.
Mhm.
And then, like I said, the second song, I could go through this whole thing. The second song, third time, um, I realized, hey, I'm just letting you beat on me. Like, yeah, we go through things as friends, but you keep on throwing stuff at me. At a certain point in time, I have to I have to cut the cord.
Right.
I have to care about me and say, all right, this may not be working out. I hope the best for you. I really do. I'm gonna still pray for you. I hope everything that you want in your life still comes to pass. We just can't be around each other.
Yeah.
Reminder, which is I think the third one, that's when I started getting mad. I ain't gonna lie, because you know, you could be sad all day long, but all the emotions start to come up when you think about your interpersonal relationships. And reminder was just like, dang, like I'm just out here doing stuff for people. And they're taking me for granted, and like I'm finna glow up on you. And it's gonna be a reminder of who I was to you, because you're not gonna keep on playing me. You know, that's when I started realizing I couldn't just be a victim in all the stories. You know, I had to actually grow up
Right.
and start looking at my life and seeing what do I want, which goes into the next song, which is "Don't Worry About It." It said, "If you don't care about me, don't worry about it. Pay me no attention. Don't worry about it." I'm starting to get wise about life now and knowing what I want, you know, like maybe I want flowers, or maybe I want attention, or maybe I want emotional maturity. Maybe I want these things in my life, and now I have to start asking for them. Um, and then what was the next song? The next song is "Love for Me." You know, okay, I feel like I'm giving you love. Now let's reciprocate. You know, I want the same love for you that I'm giving from you that I'm giving to you. Um, so yeah, and then the last song is "Go Crazy," which pretty much goes back into my default setting, where it's like, all right,
Lovey-dovey.
yeah, like I done went through all the emotions and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and I feel like I done grown from them, and I'm like, all right, now I'm a calmer, more emotionally stable person. Now I can go back to being a lover girl, and just like, all right, now we can move in a different way that's healthier
Yeah.
for me, because all the 5 situations before, it was just toxic. And it wasn't just toxic on their end, it was also on my end. You know, I had to learn a lot about myself.
Yeah. I love that. That definitely is a story of realization that a lot of people can relate to, I feel like. I can tell you, I've been through that. I'm sure many, many other women have been through it as well. And then just finally getting to that place where you just want to be at peace and you just want to be a lover girl.
Yep.
So, yeah. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, yeah, that was my overall explanation of Head Over Heart. Like you said, a whole therapy session. It was beautiful. It was definitely a beautiful process to go through.
Yeah. So, how long did the project take you to put together from start to finish?
Probably like a year. Probably. Because it really, what ended up happening was it started off as just like singles, and then um, along the way I started to realize, like, hey, these things are kind of lining up, you know, like this story matches with this story, and this story matches with this story. Let's take these songs and really see, like, what do we have here? Like, what is the theme of all of this music? And then once we started to see, like, okay, this is a whole story, then you start adding more music on from there. Yeah, and then we make a project. So yeah, it took about a year.
Okay. I'm surprised you didn't. I thought you were going to say like 2 years for some reason, just because I feel like that's a common artist answer. But that's for people who I feel like take time in between, and like a lot of people like will take a break in between a project. Like I said, because mentally or because life. But it seems like you were like consistent with working. At least, even if you weren't working toward a project, you were at least consistent with working throughout that year enough to get those singles into a project.
Definitely. I will say, like, it is harder to take a break in today's music climate because they want you to put out so much. And so I could be working on a project and working on the next 2 projects as I'm working on this project that's not done yet.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy. Like, if you do take a break, it's maybe for like a month, maybe 2, 3 max.
Exactly.
But we've been working so much that, like I said, you're kind of doing 2 to 3 projects at the same time, and the one that y'all are listening to is the one that we just got done with.
Right.
We still got 2 projects in the making.
Exactly.
So yeah, because they do require a lot from you now.
Yes. People. I think that also goes along with how you were saying people want instant gratification. So people, they will take a song, they'll listen to it for a little, they'll digest it, then they'll be over it and ready for the next in
Pretty
like a
much.
month. So
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then it kind of makes it hard because on one hand, you want to push, whatever the lead single is, or you want to push your album for a good amount of time because it's going to take people time to be able to even find it
Right.
on one end. But then on the other end, you're like, but if I'm not consistently dropping, then they're not even going to look at you as a serious artist because
Right.
you're not consistently dropping every 3 weeks.
Right.
So it's a weird balance
It
of
very
trying
much
to do
is.
both, so it's almost like, what do you promote at this point?
Right.
So yeah.
Right. That almost again is where having a team comes in handy because you have a bunch of brains to help you figure that out.
Yes.
Yes.
I will say having a team has been the best thing ever. Literally the best thing ever. Because there will be times where I feel like, you try to take the Russ approach where it's like, I have to do everything. And then like your brain just blows up and you go through this like burnout.
Exactly.
But then like I know Johnny always will tell me like, you don't even have to do this part, dude. Like I don't even know why you're stressing about it because we have a team now. Where it's like, yes, you're involved, but this person is actually better at it than you.
Yeah.
So while you over here stressing about it,
Exactly. They
So-
already got it figured out.
exactly. So I would encourage everybody to get a team, and no matter what field you're in, because you would rather have an expert in every area than to be mediocre in
Right.
everything. So yeah.
I 100% agree with you there.
Mhm.
Okay, well, we're going to start wrapping up, but before we do, I'm going to ask you, is there anything extremely pressing you wanted to talk about, or do you have any questions for me, or even just anything you want to leave with people to think about?
Let's see. I will say the thing that I would want to. Maybe I'll go with the thing I want to leave people with is to try to make it your business to understand people and to understand yourself. I feel like it'll make life a lot easier when you are aware of what's going on around you. And then that also that a lot of times you can feel like you're the only person going through something and you're not.
Yeah.
And so to reach out to people, when you need help. Yeah, I think that's all I can think of so far.
That's definitely a gem. So thank you for leaving that for everyone.
No problem.
And thank you so much for coming today. I very much enjoyed this conversation, getting to sit down, get to know you better, get to learn about your project that I'm very excited for, just listening to your excitement for it. So yeah, tell everybody once again what it's called and what is it? Head over heart? No, Head Over Heart.
Yes.
Head Over Heart. So everybody check out Head Over Heart by Tay Mystique. And thank you so much for listening. And everybody, will see you next time.
Thank you. I'm like, did it go on?
Usually. Okay. Alrighty. Anywho, I'm gonna pretend this is wearing a cocktail about it eventually. I'm still not gonna say nothing crazy. Right.
This is awesome. I love this.
Thank you. I'm glad you came.
Yeah, I like it too. Thank you for having me. The setup was beautiful.
You
You
also
did
need to
great.
take pictures.
I'm glad you brought up the picture thing because I always
Yes, I did until I had to stop.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I don't even watch it. I never know how to pose.
Yeah, I was like,
All
you're
I
like,
afraid of was one.
that's why I started wearing big jackets. I was like, "Ugh."
I don't even look for it.
I'll say the last night. Oh, you got it.
Why would you say that while I'm making the video? That video is so funny.
Welcome to the Black Men Nation podcast,
Yeah.
We should name your podcast that for real.
where we talk about all things that they lie about us, call us black men. Don't cheat, be faithful. Got 401ks. We always got gas in the car.
Mm,
I don't want to be
right.
No stretch. We're gonna call a fragrant power on both of
I can't say that.
them.
Flagrant foul?
Can you say car across the road?
Is that called cotton ball?
What you say? You about to say? Go for it.
Come out with real gonorrhea lipstick.
Bruh.
That's sexy red.
Get
That's
the
it.
message, you're done.